But the point is that we want to have less ego, more of authenticity, more growth, more development, more of who we are, more of what we love. And I was talking about the fact earlier that when we are children, we see this vision and we have all these wonderful things that we want to do for ourselves, right? And as we grow older, we start seeing that life is difficult. And okay, I may not be able to do all of that in one go, but I'm just going to keep trying, and you get knocked down and it becomes this crazy cycle. But don't lose hope. Go back to your authenticity. Hey, chosen ones, how are you guys doing? So, chosen ones, today I felt called to talk about the ego. Okay, I always talk from experience. I always talk from what I'm experiencing, what I'm learning, how I'm growing, how I'm developing, and I share it with you guys. And if some of it resonates, if some of it helps you to think about situations in your life, things that you're doing, fantastic. That's all I want. Okay. So, as I said, today I want to talk about the ego because, firstly, I don't think I know enough about it. And then the second thing is that I think our egos affect us in ways that we don't even know and comprehend. Okay. Before we talk about ego, let's talk about who God says we are. Okay. So, straight away, I'm going to go to Genesis 1:27. And it says here, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Okay? So God created us in his image. We are humans, but we are created like God. We have a lot of responsibilities. We have a lot of authority in this world. Okay? And I think one of the things we have to remember is that obviously God is a spirit. We are spiritual beings. Okay? We have so many gifts that God has given us through the Holy Spirit. Okay? And a lot of us might feel we know what we're good at, what we're passionate about, but we don't always or often pursue it. And I guess with time and age as well, we kind of lose not hope, but we lose that childlike belief, that childlike vision, that childlike drive. Okay, because life gets hard and we get bruised and battered and challenged and stretched, and we start seeing reality for what it really is and not in that childlike bubble where you're a bit naive thinking that everything and anything is possible. To a certain extent, everything and anything is possible if you truly believe and if you take action and if you have the faith and if you really want it. Like, it depends on how much you want it. Okay. But ultimately, one thing that I want to remind you guys about is the importance of being authentic, the importance of being yourself. I recently started a new part time job, and in the training that we had last week, one of the questions they asked people, and it was people from all around the world, was what are you unapologetically unashamed about? What are you unapologetically proud of being? What are you happy about that you're unapologetic about? And I saw all these things. I saw like crazy cat and dog lady and, football fanatic and all this. And then I saw somebody post, um, I'm I am unapologetically a Christian. And I thought, that's beautiful. Putting yourself out there, being proud of who you are. You watching this, you might not be a Christian. You might not believe in God or whatever it is. But the point is that you were created, okay? You didn't just fall out of the earth. You wasn't just like molded on this earth. You were created, okay? And God's breath in the mother's womb basically created your spirit, put a spirit into the body, right? Now, let's not even go there. What I'm trying to say is that we are all gifted. We were made with different abilities, different talents, okay? And what happens now, we're moving on to what I really want to talk about, which is the ego. What happens is that as we are going through life and we're growing, we're being influenced and we're being molded, what I understand of the ego is that you create a personality, somebody who you think you are, the ego, right? Now, the ego is created to protect us. The ego wants to keep us safe. The ego wants to keep us in a cycle. So, what will happen is that if you have lived your life in a certain way, your ego will anticipate that and it will always look for those things. Your ego will sabotage you from moving into bigger and better areas because it thinks it's protecting you. In other words, your ego is your false self. Okay, you are not your ego. You are a spiritual being with a soul in a body. You are created in the image of God. So you are, in a sense, a mini God. Okay. And I don't mean that as in like, oh, no. I mean that God has given us his spirit. And through that, we have powers that we can perform, that we can be, that we can like live through. But because we are limited in our minds and our understanding, we do not know how powerful we are. Now, the ego, as I said, tries to protect you. And it's even big, it's even more deeper when you've had abuse as a child, if you've experienced abuse in the childhood or even adulthood, or you had some kind of trauma or whatever, your ego will be created. Now, one of the things your ego will tell you sometimes is you're not good enough. You're not like them. You don't have that ability. You can't do that. Look at you. Look at your past. Look at what you've been through. Okay. And so here are some things that the ego will tell you. So the first one I said is, I'm not good enough. The second one is, people are doing better than me. The third one is, I'm behind in some way, in my career, in having maybe children, in getting married, whatever it is. It'll also tell you, no one will ever love me. No one will ever stay with me. It might even tell you, that person is more attractive than me. So they're going to get more attention, better everything because of that. Or it might even tell you, I can't do what other people do. I am not like them. I can't. Okay. And that is what the ego tells us. I love that if you have a full on ego, right, it will be shown in these ways. So, number one, you will always want to be right. You will not want to be corrected. You will not want to listen to others' opinions or, why people think that they might be right or whatever it is. You just want to be right. The second thing is you will always want more. So you're never satisfied. It is so important to be grateful for where we are, how far we've come, what we've done. And yes, it's okay to want to achieve more and to have more, but to not appreciate where you are and always looking for more, that's purely your ego. The third thing is you will always focus on yourself. Now, a lot of us watching this video are empaths, so perhaps that's not going to be something we always do. We think about others a lot. Whereas if you're in your ego, you will always think about yourself. What can I get out of this? How is it going to benefit me? Right? And I'm describing things here as I'm talking about the ego. The fourth thing is that you won't like it when other people succeed. So you'll be looking at others and like, oh, how did she do this? And I know people who very much have all these characteristics, may I add. And so, yeah, you wouldn't be happy for others when they're achieving things. The fifth thing is that you set unrealistic goals for yourself because you think you're up there. So I can do this and I have done this. And if, it's always the if. If I was in this situation, I would have done that. If I was in that situation, I would. If, but never actually doing the action. And you know what? Having a big ego can actually lead to a lot of stress as well because you put yourself under so much pressure to do so much rather than be humble, have humility in knowing that you are human, you have limitations, okay? And nobody made us to be perfect. We may be made in the image of God, but we are certainly not perfect like God, right? And then the last thing is you lack empathy, okay? And empathy is when you care about others, you can feel others' emotions, you can put yourselves in their shoes. And now, when I've described what you would do if you're in your ego, which were the 6 things I've just talked about, I'm more or less describing narcissists, okay? Narcissists are 100% in their ego because what have they done? They have created a false sense of self, right? So when you think of ego, you think of the extreme of narcissism, but there is also ego in all of us. And they do say that everybody has a little bit of narcissism in them, but obviously narcissists are at one end of the spectrum and empaths are another. And then also those with narcissistic tendencies are in other places, okay? So we all have it. But the point is that we want to have less ego, more of authenticity, more growth, more development, more of who we are, more of what we love. And I was talking about the fact earlier that when we are children, we see this vision and we have all these wonderful things that we want to do for ourselves, right? And as we grow older, we start seeing that life is difficult. And okay, I may not be able to do all of that in one go, but I'm just going to keep trying, and you get knocked down and it becomes this crazy cycle. But don't lose hope. Go back to your authenticity. What did you like as a child? I'll tell you guys straight away. As a child, I was fascinated by news reporters. I was fascinated by motivational speakers. I was fascinated by going to events and seeing people on the stage talking about their life and how they've, come through it and what they've achieved. That fascinated me. And that's actually making me excited right now as I'm talking about it. So I know one of my gifts, as well as my passion, is speaking, right? Motivational speaking, encouraging, all those kind of things is what I love. What do you love? Authentically as yourself. What are you good at? What do you love? What can you build on? What can you make more time in doing? Right? How can you grow in those abilities, those gifts? Yeah? And how can you basically have less ego? Because the ego is not our friend. I'm at the stage in my life that I am not taking on more than I need to. I realize that I am a mere mortal. I am a human, meaning that I cannot put so much expectation on myself or allow people to put expectations on me to do more than it's my capacity, because it's not a healthy thing. I don't want to be overwhelmed anymore, and I choose not to be. Okay. Self-love and respect is so important. Putting yourself first and knowing that you have limitations. That is a form of you saying, I'm putting my ego aside. My ego might want me to believe that I'm superhuman and all this, but I am not. I am not superhuman. And I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to have boundaries. And I'm going to show people how to treat me. And this is something that I'm walking on or walking through in my journey. Hence why I'm sharing it with you guys. Not having expectations of people having to like me, or people thinking that they know me when they don't. Not like letting the external world affect my internal world. Knowing who I am, knowing I was fearfully and wonderfully made, and knowing that God knew me when I was in my mother's womb, right? Knowing that I am blessed. I have so many things going for me. I have value as I am, not because I'm doing something for someone, or because I'm people pleasing, or because I'm meeting someone else's expectations. As I am enough. And as you are enough. So let's drop the ego. We might say, oh, I don't have ego. Everybody has a certain extent of ego. Let's drop it. Let's get rid of it, because it's not in our favor. Ego says, this person is doing this and I want to match it. Ego says, I'm going to compare myself to this one to just basically check what my value is. Ego says, I'm going to compete with this person to show them that, yes, I am who I believe I am. Ego is all about comparison and competitive. Ego is all about comparison and competitiveness. And we don't need that. You are unique. There is no one like you. Therefore, how can you compare yourself? You were born at a different time, a different date. Your background is different. Your culture might be different. Your location might be different. Your features might be different. How can you possibly how can you possibly compare yourself to others? And I know society makes us want to do that. Society has ideal images of what is beautiful, what is ideal. You need to make your own ideal. You need to know that God made you ideal. He made you so perfect that nobody can come and tell you, oh, your nose is too big, or your eyes are too big, or your hair is not like this, or because you are perfect. And there will be somebody else who will appreciate you and know that you're perfect, or see you as perfect. And even if there isn't, you should know that yourself. You should love yourself. You can't change yourself. We can, I guess, with plastic surgery, which many people that you compare yourself to have done, right? Bearing in mind. So value who you are, love who you are, appreciate who you are, drop the ego, and don't worry about what people think, what people expect. You give what you can and you do what you can, because it's all about you. Okay, it's all about you and your God that created you. Okay, so thank you, Jesus, for dying on the cross for us. Thank you for sending the Holy Spirit to us to be able to speak through us and to just be able to minister to people and share our knowledge with others. Father, thank you for just allowing me to do this video. Chosen ones, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so happy I did it because it was for me as much as it was for you. So if you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And yeah, please comment below if you think you have ever experienced your ego taken over, or if you're in a process of letting go of your ego, or what you're doing in your life, if you feel that you're 100% authentic, or if you're happy to be your unique self. And also share with me your passions and what you're working on and how you're working with it. Yeah, chosen ones, I'm just so enjoying getting to know you guys, connecting with you guys, and thank you for always watching my video and coming back. And yeah, do you know what, I've been told that my channel, I have so many people who watch my videos that don't just subscribe. So I'm asking you to subscribe to my channel today to get more of these videos, okay? And to connect with me more as well, chosen ones. Take care and see you soon. Bye.